Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast, energized by Celsius, the official energy drink of PewterReport.com. Want to welcome everybody to the show. Hope you had a great weekend. I know we spoke to some people yesterday on a special Sunday episode of the Pewter Report podcast, but we are in episode 2 to start off this week as we will talk about the press conference had by Shaq Barrett, obviously talking about the passing of his daughter, YaYa, that happened 3 months ago. We'll also break down the rest of training camp practice as well, plus a little roll call at 4:20 today. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is the face that runs the place at PewterReport.com, SR Scott Reynolds. And Scott, this quarterback competition, man, a long way to go, but the pendulum is swinging a little bit in one direction.
Yeah, it really is. And it's a credit to the fact that Kyle Trask has really put together 2 very good days of practice. And yesterday, and we talked about it on the show, and we had some conversations with some people in the building, some of our sources that agreed with us that this was indeed Kyle Trask's best practice start to finish on Sunday. He was decisive. He was in command of the offense. Quick, rhythmic with his passing, and that kind of continued today. Now, he was with the starters yesterday. Now he was with the backups today. But the encouraging thing, if you're a Kyle Trask supporter, is there really wasn't much drop off in play. He made some pretty good throws. Not as many touchdowns. I think he had 4 or 5 yesterday. Not as many touchdowns today, but certainly stayed away from trouble. And we saw Baker Mayfield have 2 interceptions. One was his fault. It was a perfectly timed jumped route in the end zone.
Yeah,
on a pass intended for a K-Dot, and it was picked off by Antoine Winfield Jr. And really, Trask should have had 2 other interceptions. There was one dropped on a very similar play by Nolan Turner, who jumped a route and almost came away with the pick. And then Ryan Miller at the very end of practice slipped down, the rookie receiver, on a route. The ball was already in the air. So technically, Ryan Miller probably would have been more at fault than Baker Mayfield. But the pass hit Ryan Neal right in the numbers, right between the 2 and the 3, and he dropped it. And then there was also a tipped pass at the line of scrimmage that was intercepted by YaYa Diaby, a diving YaYa Diaby. So that was pretty eventful for the Bucs defense, really getting their hands on a lot of passes the last couple of days.
Is it Baker Mayfield's fault on the tip pass because he's not taller? Does that go down as an interception on Baker Mayfield because of his height?
That's his parents' fault. That's just DNA. So
that's his parents' fault. Yeah. So if you look at the overall turnover competition at the moment, you have 4 turnovers for Baker Mayfield. The most today, obviously, with the 2, but one of them being kind of a freak one with the tipped pass. So more 3 purposeful interceptions for Baker Mayfield. Kyle Trask only has 1 so far, and same with John Wolford, who threw the pick 6 to Zion McCollum. Both fell victim to Servassier Dennis, who we have spoken a lot about over the past couple shows, because, if you got an interception in training camp, we're going to bring your name up a lot. But Kyle Trask, to go back to him, I would say if I was going to use one word to describe the way that Kyle Trask carried himself today and performed, I would say assertive. Because especially in the 2-minute drill, he was clapping it up, getting people moving. And that's the Kyle Trask that I've personally have wanted to see a little bit more, getting people going, getting them up to the line of scrimmage. Go, go, go. Let's move it. He was louder today. He's getting rid of the ball and in all different phases, just going quick, making smart decisions. And I don't think it's really a surprise that he is winning the quote-unquote turnover battle at the moment. Kyle Trask is doing exactly what he needs to do. Because as we said, we plan, or our best guess was that Baker Mayfield is going to win this job. But how could Baker Mayfield lose this job? And how could Kyle Trask win it? I should probably say better. Kyle Trask doesn't turn the ball over. That's what we talked about with Dave Canales. Don't turn the ball over and let Baker self-implode. And Baker by no means is self-imploding just yet. But you look at the turnovers the last 2 days, Kyle's been pretty damn good, where Baker not so much. And both have worked with the one, so there's not really an excuse either way.
Yeah, you're right. And the thing too is Baker Mayfield just wasn't that sharp today, right? It just was not a great day for him. There were some drops. Russell Gage had a pass drop him right in his hands. He's still working his way back. Finally seeing some 11-on-11 work today after only practicing with the individuals yesterday. So a little bit of rust to shake off there. And yeah, that's right. We have roll call here. It's a happy roll call Monday. So we're at 4:20 we'll do roll call. And yeah, I mean, Kyle Trask is doing what he has to do, which is execute the offense and stay away from turnovers. And we'll see if this continues. But to his credit, this is a young quarterback that just hasn't had a lot of reps outside of last year when Tom Brady was gone, right, for those 10 days. That's where we saw Kyle Trask really kind of take some reps as the number 2. Blaine Gabbert was the number 1. And I remember there was a practice out there in Tennessee where Josh Capo and I were watching, and Kyle Trask was feeling it. But he didn't put together an entire practice. Yesterday he did, and I think it continued and carried over into today. And so we'll see if he can continue to stack these practices. A long way to go. The quarterback battle is not being determined. I thought Baker Mayfield was better last week. And I think right now, and I talked with Dave Canales briefly off the field, and he said, it was, Kyle won yesterday, and it was neck and neck today. And then Baker threw the interception to Antoine Winfield, and Kyle won another one. So that's 2-0 right now for Kyle Trask, if you're counting and keeping score at home.
Yeah, I would even say Baker, if you want to go even further back, Baker won the OTAs and minicamp and probably those first couple days of practice. And then Kyle Trask clearly has won the last 2 days. Now, I don't know how much stock when the Bucs and Todd Bowles are deciding who's going to be the starting quarterback week 1 against Minnesota. I don't think Todd Bowles is going to go, well, Baker looked pretty good in OTAs, therefore I think he should be the starter.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we can only go by what we see at practice every single day. So obviously everyone wants to know about the quarterback competition, and understandably so. I wouldn't even say just as a group out of the 3 quarterbacks, John Wolford threw another touchdown pass to Mike Evans, sticking to the script of throw it to great players.
Right.
But overall, it wasn't bad by any means. Like even Baker with the interceptions, if it was only 1 interception that was his fault on the day, Baker didn't do anything that special, but neither did Kyle Trask. I would say the play today was borderline just average okay by all the quarterbacks across the board. Just one was a little worse than
the other. To pick up on a point that you made yesterday, the one thing that Baker has done in practice so far this year in training camp is he's made the dynamic throws. Yes. He has made some amazing plays. We remember that the Raheem Jarrett one-on-one, go up and get a ball on 3rd and 7. He had the pass on Sunday where Chris Godwin, who had a fantastic practice on Sunday, went up and perfectly timed the ball and tracked it, the deep ball from Baker Mayfield over Keenan Isaac for a huge play. And then Baker did it again today. The Buccaneers had a situation where there were 2 situations, 2 last-minute situations, one with 22 seconds left, the Bucs trailing by 6 points, needing a touchdown to win with no timeouts, just outside the red zone. And that was the situation where Baker threw the interception. Now, when Kyle Trask came in, Trask had 2 plays. He had a great pass to David Wells, who continues to impress as tight end 2. Caught the ball down at the 1-yard line, and then with 4 seconds left, right, clock is ticking, didn't get up and spike the ball. What they did was they went right to the line. Kyle, again, as you mentioned, assertive, decisive, threw a quick little pass to Trey Palmer over Don Gardner in coverage, touchdown Buccaneers. And so that was a good one for Trask. Then on the next series, which was 19 seconds left, starting at about the 35-yard line of the offense, Bucs needed to get in field goal position, trailing 16-14 for that game-winning kick. They didn't do the kicks today, but they just wanted to make sure you got in position. So Baker Mayfield, I talked about the near interception that he threw to Ryan Neal. Well, on the next play, he threw a beautiful, beautiful deep out to Cade Warner, who had a couple of fantastic catches today.
I wrote his name down. He's really come on the last two practices in particular. And I like that he is going old school with the bare hands. Like last year, Cade Otton started that way, the starting tight end. He began that way. That's how he was in college as well. Cade Otton, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Then he put on the gloves. Cade Warner, Scott, you would know better than me. I think he wore gloves at Kansas State. Did he not?
I don't think so. I think
he did.
He's been doing the bare hands thing, catching passes from dad, Kurt Warner, all these years. He's got good hands. But in this instance, he made a diving catch where he literally was coming right towards us and just came across the field. At first, you're looking at this pass and you're thinking, wow, Baker overthrew the underneath guy. But then you didn't realize it was like a deep out where all of a sudden Cade Warner comes from the hash and is literally sprinting and then leaps out, catches the ball, gets 2 feet down, and dives out of bounds.
I can't believe that he stayed in bounds, not to cut you off.
I know.
I could not believe it. At first, I thought the ref was going to call him down, but I think the way that he landed, it was one of those like 1 knee equals 2 feet type of situation. So Cade Warner has been great the last 2 days, making like unreal catches. Like the type of catches where I don't know why this is the first thing that came to mind, but Gronk, I think last year went back to his alma mater, the University of Arizona, and they were trying to break some record where they dropped the football out of a helicopter 1 billion feet up in the air and he had to catch it. It's like on the second try. That's what I feel like with Cade Warner because he's going across the field, diving, sprawling out, and making the play. So good for him because Raheem Jarrett, I think, early on has kind of stole the show in terms of the undrafted free agent wide receivers. And there's a lot of them, but Cade Warner has come on strong the last 2 days. So he definitely deserves some credit for what he's been doing. It was a fantastic catch. And you mentioned Raheem Jarrett. He ended practice because that was a Baker Mayfield throw to get the team into field goal range, which Warner's catch did. Then on the very next series, it was an 18-yard catch and run across the middle on a bullet pass from Kyle Trask, hitting Raheem Jarrett in stride. He got some yak and then smartly slid down, right? Yeah. He ran it, and then right when the defender was getting near him, he slid down, gave himself up, and allowed Kyle Trask and the offense to come up and spike the ball and get in field goal range. So very nice 1-2 punch from these rookie receivers. And Cade Warner did say back in OTAs and rookie minicamp that he is the smartest wide receiver in the draft. So he's living up to it with that move. I just wanted to address real quick. We got a super chat from Philip Stegman. Appreciate it, Philip. He asked, my message didn't go through. It did here. But did you guys hear anything about Kalijah Cansey? So Kalijah Cansey was asked about today. He obviously had the calf strain. Todd Bowles updated us. He did not get the MRI yet. He was supposed to get it yesterday. Right. He's getting the MRI today. So no news yet until the MRI comes about. Right. So we could hear something by the end of tonight or, we will find out tomorrow as well. Yep. So appreciate the super chat, Philip, but no update as of yet for Kalijah Cansey until he gets his MRI today. Right.
Exactly. So the only other thing, Carlton Davis missed practice today. I think it was a veteran day off for him. Ryan Jensen is doing this on off type of schedule where he didn't practice today. The Bucs are being very cautious about his return. And, like I was talking with a couple of the Pewter reporters today, center is such a position where the primary job is just to snap it to the quarterback, right? And get the play started. Yeah. And Matt, we see even in days where Ryan Jensen isn't dressed and ready to go, he's still getting in snaps with the quarterbacks.
He is.
And so he's logging scores and scores and scores of snaps with Kyle Trask, with Baker Mayfield, and then even some with John Wolford, the third string quarterback. So he's got that part down. The other thing is with Jensen is he can take these mental reps. He's played enough football. And it's not like you're a guard where you have, you have a tackle to one side that you might be double teaming with, or you might be double teaming with the center. You're the pivot guy in the middle. And honestly, I think this offense puts a little bit more of the emphasis on the tackles than it does on the center. Yeah. And so I don't mind that Ryan Jensen's not getting these 11-on-11 reps. They're going to happen at some point. Just be safe with the guy. You need him on Sundays, not so much during the first 2 weeks of camp.
Yeah, I think it's one thing when, say, Zion McCollum got injured last year and he's a rookie just coming into the NFL.
Yeah.
I think it's another with someone like Russell Gage who's coming to a new team and a new
Right.
offense. But Ryan Jensen has been here for a while. I understand some concern in terms of you have two new guys right next to you. I think that is something to at least think about or look into. But when you're a veteran of the game, you've been there for a while. Football is a very, very difficult game, but sometimes if you just simplify things,
right,
they work out a little bit better. And just keeping Ryan Jensen healthy is, I think, more important than, let's just say, 20% extra reps working with Matt Filer and Cody Mauch. I think you got to look long term.
Yeah.
I know it's tough. A lot of people are impatient in football, myself included. You just want to see Ryan Jensen out there. You want to see him cracking skulls, especially with Cody Mauch. Yep. You got the red hair group going, throwing Keith as well. It'll happen. It'll happen. Yep. It'll be glorious. And we'll all be like, man, we've been waiting for this moment. And we are so happy that it's occurred. So just wait. Just wait a little bit longer. But it's coming.
Yeah. The day came where Josh Hayes, another Kansas State product, Cade Warner's former teammate, still current teammate now with the Buccaneers, made some big time plays too. We've seen the nickel position go from being kind of exclusively D. Delaney's to now we're seeing some Josh Hayes over the last 2 days worth of practice, getting some reps with the ones. And we saw the previous week, Chris Izzian, the other rookie from Rutgers, getting some reps in there as well. But Josh Hayes had 2 really nice pass breakups today and really kind of asserted himself. I kind of felt like he's been quiet this offseason. What's that? It was a big day for Kansas State. Yeah, I was happy to see it, of course. But Josh Hayes is just a physical player. And, I had a conversation with him and he just kept saying, wait till the pads come on. Because that's just the kind of player he is. And, he had a really good showing today. And maybe that continues for the Buccaneers. To his credit, D. Delaney also had a really good pass breakup. I can't remember the receiver that he stepped in front of, but I believe it was a Baker Mayfield pass. He swatted down in the end zone. That would have been a near touchdown. Yes. It was a great read by Baker, and it just D. Delaney just got there quicker and just swatted it down. So
it was good read right over the middle. Solid throw and just excellent timing by D. Delaney.
I think it was to Mike Evans, I believe.
Yeah, he was going for Mike. Yeah, definitely. He was going for Mike. D. Delaney hopped in there. So good battle for the slot corner between D. Delaney. Josh Hayes, as you said, we didn't even really mention it until right now that it was full pads today at Bucs practice, which was a big difference. And because of that, we saw a lot more one-on-one battles, a lot of wide receivers against cornerbacks and great wide receivers against great cornerbacks, and some battles in the trenches as well between the offensive line and defensive line. Now, we only get a certain amount of time to film when practice is going on. So we didn't get any of the trenches, unfortunately, because that happened after the allowable viewing period. But we did get some of the one-on-one matchups. So we have one of Josh Hayes's pass breakups during the one-on-ones. We also have Trey Palmer and Mike Evans against Jamel Dean. So let's go to the tape. Just a little taste, a little tidbit of what we saw from the one-on-one matchups. I know some Bucs fans might be concerned about the way that Mike Evans and Jamel Dean kind of ended up. They were both fine. They kind of tangled legs a little bit, and that's why Jamel Dean completely fell.
That happens to Mike all the time.
Yeah, it's you saw Mike limping
pull
a
up.
Bit.
Yeah, like every practice that happens. So it's nothing with Mike. Folks, it is that time. It is 4:20. And we're going to do this little thing that y'all come to love, and we love it too. We love you, Pewter people. It's called
I can't do it as well as Rondé Barber did last week, but it's roll call. Where you at, Pewter people? We love our fans, the Pewter people, all of you guys that consume pewterreport.com. We've been very lucky to see some of you guys at a training camp. Love interacting with you guys in person, but we'll do it digitally as well on this podcast. So Scott's going to start talking about a Bucs topic that he feels like discussing. And in the meantime, please put in the comments where you are watching from, just like Greg DeCruz just did, saying, hola from Costa Rica. Let us know where you're watching from. We'll put it up on the screen. And Scott, take it away.
So I didn't have the honor and privilege of attending the Shaq Barrett press conference. I did a couple of interviews of players off the field, including Tristan Wirfs for tomorrow's Tristan Wirfs training camp diary. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a Kalashik Kansas training camp diary entry for a while until he gets back healthy. But I did have a chance to watch Shaq's press conference on video replay inside the media room, and it just about crushed me, as it did everyone in the media. I wasn't there, but I was crying in the media room, and I'm sure a lot of other media counterparts were live watching that. And I'll just say this: we're going to be playing some clips from Shaq, who addressed not just his return from the Achilles injury, but the sad, tragic, heartbreaking passing of his 2-year-old daughter, YaYa, from a drowning accident at his pool. And I thought one of the most amazing things that has come out of this, it was really twofold. Number one, Shaq was talking about how it was actually such a blessing that he got hurt last year to be able to spend more time with his daughter, Yeah. And, it's like you always look for silver linings in tragic events. And for him to just get to spend that extra time that he would have been at the facility, and instead he was home recovering from his Achilles injury. God works in mysterious ways, and we don't always understand it, but I'm so glad that he got to have that time. The other thing is he and his wife, Jordana, they're going to be setting up a foundation that's going to be paying for children for swim lessons, for infants, for toddlers, to avoid this tragedy that happens far too soon, or far too soon for young kids to pass far too often, especially in Florida, man. Everyone's got pools down here. I grew up in Kansas, and you had a public pool just with winter and all that. Not many people had pools where I grew up, but down here in Florida, they're commonplace, right? You have to face the heat. My daughter Ellie actually went to preschool with Tony Dungy's daughter Jade back when they were like 2 and 3 years old, same age. And so it was funny because, I obviously knew Tony. I was covering the Buccaneers at the time. And he would come to Ellie's birthday parties with Jade, and we'd go to Tony's house for birthday parties and swim parties and all that stuff. So it was kind of interesting. Well, Tony lived in Avila. I think he still does. And they've got like this like long backyard area, probably about 40 yards from his house to the pool, maybe 30 yards. It's a long lanai, all covered in and everything, and big brick patio and all of that. And I one of the first people there, just had my son Logan, who was probably a couple months old at the time. My daughter Ellie was 3 at the time, 3.5 maybe, and she just about drowned in Tony Dungy's pool. And I watched the whole thing happen, and it can happen like that. It happened so fast. Jade had her little floaties on, little arm floaties, and was trying to coax Ellie into the pool. And, and I said, Ellie, wait for mom. And Ellie's mom was getting dressed and changing into her suit. I had like shorts on. I wasn't going swimming that day. Keys in my pocket, wallet in my pocket, phone in my pocket. And all of a sudden, Ellie starts walking down the steps, and then boop, she goes under. And there was a woman who was pregnant, about 9 months pregnant, tried to reach over and grab her, and Ellie's only probably in 3-foot water because it's close to the edge, but she was 3 years old at the time, and very young. And I race over there, literally jump in the water, got my son right here. I'm halfway in the water, grab her, and she was probably underwater maybe 10, 12 seconds tops. but lungs full of water. I'm, smacking her and getting the water out and all that and coughing and Tony Dunn he's the coolest customer in the world. Like he's always Tony, and he came up just like cool as a cucumber. Scott, is everything okay? Is Ellie okay? And so they're like, oh my God, is she okay? He's just like even keel Tony, is Ellie okay? Almost drowned in my pool, but that's how quickly things like that could happen. And, I'm just grateful that the Barretts are doing swimming lessons and helping others pay for swimming lessons for their kids, so this kind of tragedy can be avoided. And they're going to save lives by doing this, by paying for swim lessons for kids. They're going to save lives, countless lives that they're never going to know about, because these kids are going to learn how to swim. And as a parent who went through that scare, and it is a scare, it can happen like that. And so just some really heartbreaking stuff. But let's get to some of the video, Matt. It's really moving stuff from Shaq today.
And very well said, Scott. And the courage of Shaq to even just be up there and speak and get his message across while also grieving and coping at the same time. I don't know how he did it, but we'll get to the first video. Just a simple question of how he and his family are doing.
This is a daily battle, tough battle. The day I felt it heavier today than I did the last couple of days. It just comes in waves. We just talk to each other, talk through it with each other, and just lean on each other, get ourselves through, and lean on the Lord as well. But it don't get any easier. It's just me being busy, keep my mind off of it for a little bit, but it's just tough. It's just always gonna be tough. This morning, it was hitting me hard this morning, and had to get ready for practice, so I'm get my mind off it a little bit. And then just had to just focus on something else, because I got a lot of time in the day when I'm just in my head thinking about stuff and thinking about her. So having to actually think about what I'm doing, right in the moment, helps me out a lot, and helps the family out a lot when we doing stuff, trying to stay busy. As hard as it is, I hate being sad and feeling down and sad all the time, even though I love feeling them feelings for her because she was a big part of our family. But I look just getting out of it, just having to come to prayers, having to get my mind up. It's good for me, and because I'm home enough during the day. I got enough downtime where I think about it enough all the time. So having something to do to take my mind off of it just helps a lot. And I just appreciate it to be back, be able to do everything again, and just do everything a little bit extra hard for her because she's not able to be here. And it's just tough too, because this would have been her first time that she would have been able to actually come to and actually remember. I thought about that's what made it a little bit harder today, because the first day my family came today. So just having something to take my mind off of it is real good for me, real beneficial for me right now.
I'm not going to put myself in Shaq Barrett's shoes, because I can't even explain what he's going through, or how he can even really process this. But I do appreciate him being so candid about using football as an escape for what he's going through, and that he kind of needed football in a sense to at least be distracted from his personal tragedy for even a little bit of time. And we talk a lot about that, just watching football games is an escape from reality for people in their everyday life, whether it's watching a movie or watching the NFL and things like that. So it's understandable what Shaq is saying for sure. And the fact that it comes in waves too is just, it's really tough. This second video, he's talking a little bit more about his daughter, Araya, her smile and her energy and things that he loves about her.
She was the best. She was literally the best. Everything all around. Smile, her personality. Even when she's been naughty, she still was so cute. She was smart. She knew exactly what she shouldn't be doing, and then she'll stop doing it and then go back and try to do it. It was just, I could go on and on forever and ever about it. It's just her smile. I miss so much her energy. Putting in the bed every night, reading stories. She just brought so much brightness and wholeness and completeness to our lives. And we was definitely have a big hole in our hearts and our lives that we won't be able to fill, but we still got our other 3 kids that's still helping us fill the void a little. And then we got another baby on the way that should help a little bit too, but we know it's never going to be the same without her. It's always sad because she would have been the best big sister as well. Like it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because I know she's in a better place, but I 100% prefer her to be here with us selfishly. Yeah, it's just time. It's just a lot. It's a lot just that goes on throughout the day. Talk about stars in the sky, and we like one star, like a monkey like says goodnight, and then they count the stars in the window at night, and then be 1 star, then 2 stars, another animal say goodnight, and then they see 2 stars in the window at night, so on and so forth. But she loves stars, and that's why I got some star. Well, I got a tribute on my arm to her tattoo. Got a couple stars on there. She just loves stars. Every time you read, she say like star, and it just was the cutest voice. And she would call moon stars too, but she loved her stars, and it was everything. And I'm happy that I'm not happy I got hurt, but I'm happy that I was able to spend all the extra time from being hurt in last year. So that was a hindsight. I'm looking back, I'm glad I was able to have the extra time with her, so I could have more bonding time and experiences with her. But she loves all books with stars in it.
This next video, he's talking about his, how him and his wife Jordana have been leaning on each other both for support, but also, being open about that there's a weakness as well for going through all of this grief, and showing that it's okay to be emotional and upset about these things, and it's okay to talk about their daughter as well, because they still want to honor her and share the brightness that she brought to the world.
Yeah, so most definitely we've been able to come together in this tough time for our family, and everybody came together for us, the whole locally, nationally, everybody came to be with us in our time of need, and I appreciate everybody, Bucs organization, everybody came through it and stuff that I wasn't even expecting, and we was very appreciative of that. But Jordana, she's been really strong, and we've been able to lean on each other, but we also been really weak together too. We also been sharing on tough times with each other. We also been crying on each other, talking to each other, having times with the kids, letting everybody know it's okay to still talk about her and still show our emotions for her. That's the way we need to remember her, and just bring her brightness to our lives and try to bring to other people's lives by talking about her. My kids, we did a counseling to make sure they was expressing everything they needed to express, just in case we was missing something. Just wanted to make sure we was doing everything possible for them. So we feel like we doing the best we can in the situation. I ain't saying we doing perfect, but we doing, I think, the best we can is just being honest, open with our emotions with each other, with our family and our friends, everybody that's supporting us, and not being afraid to be weak from time to time and showing out, not even weak, just showing emotions. Because people have a stigma of being weak as showing emotions, but that's not weak, it's just having emotions and just being in the moment and just expressing how you feel. So we do that, and we strong together, we cry together, laugh together, everything we do together, and that's what's helping us stay closer together and come closer together.
What's that be like for you and
Yeah, it's amazing, especially knowing that our other baby girl, Rare, more than likely had something to do with it. We know there's no replacing her. There's nothing ever in this world that can happen to replace our baby girl. But it's having another baby girl, which is a super blessing, because I wanted another girl really bad. Would have been happy either way, but having another baby girl, baby Alana, when she comes, is first of all, the whole situation just makes me nervous in general about having another kid, because accidents happen. But Jordana told me I can't think like that. Just gotta stay strong, have faith, and believe. But once I saw the heartbeat, I started to relax a little bit, and the excitement took over, the worry went away. So I'm just excited for my family, just excited in general to have a new addition come to our family in February.
Yeah, for those that may not have known, Shaq's wife Jordana is pregnant with a baby girl, so they will be having another daughter. So there is a little light in that sense. And then last but certainly not least, Shaq talking about this new foundation that his family is going to be starting in honor of their daughter.
I was always I was never ever gonna put one of my kids in one of them little like early swimmer class and just throw them in and let them like figure it out. But I recommend people do that. We just started a foundation for my daughter's name, Araya Hope. We're going to be paying for swim lessons, and we're going to be installing like we got an AI camera in our house now. Yeah. So if a little child goes around the pool, alarm goes off now. Cause we got all the gates. We always had gates up, but we just left it open that night. Yeah. But we got more gates up, and so we're going to just help out as much as possible, like swim lessons for other families, install AI cameras for families, because it is like back when I was younger, I read a story about it happening, because I saw it happen to somebody, like when I was younger, and I was like an NFL player too, and I'm like, how that happened, but it just, like a freak accident that like, it's happened from time to time, but now we got all the precautions in a way to prevent it from happening, and that's why the Ray of Hope Inc. is going to be beneficial for a lot of families, I hope.
Nationwide?
So we want to start off in Tampa, and then probably in Colorado, get it going in Colorado as well. But as big as we can make it, we're going to make it as big as that, but we're going to start locally first.
Powerful things from Shaq Barrett.
I just want to address something here in the chat. I mean, I'm seeing.
I wanted to as well.
Yeah, Jenna Lane and Rick Stroud getting blasted by you fans for asking questions. I mean, it's a reporter's job to ask questions, and sometimes we have to ask questions that we don't want to ask.
Yeah.
Whether it's football related, whether it's job security related, or whether it's something way more serious and important, such as these questions to Shaq. At the same time, you have to understand the videos we're playing are Shaq's answers to those questions, and I just want to be very clear about this. Jenna Lane thoughtfully asked Nelson Luis, who was the Bucs communications director, what the boundaries are. What does he feel comfortable talking about? And Nelson said to Jenna and to the reporters, anything and everything. He wants to talk. Okay. And Shaq did not talk at all during OTAs, the mini camp, etc. And he's had time to process and think about what he said. And if you listen to Shaq's answers, he's talking about his daughter, right?
Yeah.
He's keeping her memory alive by talking about her. And I think there's some therapeutic benefits for Shaq in talking about this. As part of the grieving process is discussing it. And so I just want y'all to think about that too. You can have your opinions about Matt and I and Pewter Report and the Times and ESPN and Jenna and Greg Alm and Rick Stroud. That's fine. But you have to understand the context of this was they were not being insensitive. They asked what the ground rules were.
Correct.
They wanted to know what was on limits and what was off limits. And Nelson specifically said anything is on limits. He wants to talk about this.
Absolutely, Scott. I would say everything was done in a very professional manner. We've known since yesterday that we were going to be speaking to Shaq Barrett today. So obviously Shaq knew what was going to be asked to him. And as you said, he wanted to speak. And because he got to talk about his daughter, and because he gets to talk about this foundation for Araya Hope and helping all these families and just getting the message out is going to help a lot of people even right now. Maybe they put a gate around their pool if they didn't have one. Maybe they go out and get that artificial intelligence with the camera if they were already thinking about it one way or another. So Shaq didn't have to do this. He agreed to do this and kind of knew what was going on and wanted to spread the word. So I don't think it's fair to kind of harp on some of the people that were asking Shaq those specific questions because, he did want to address it.
At the same time, Pewter people, you're entitled to your opinion. We're just stating ours. And if you didn't think it was appropriate, that you're entitled to your opinion. We're not going to sit there and say you're wrong. We just wanted to give you the full context of it. And, I know Rick Stroud. We know Rick Stroud. We know Jenna Lane. They're good people. They're doing their job. And sometimes we all ask questions that are a little overkill. I've been guilty of that myself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and say this was one of those opportunities because, again, the videos that we just played were Shaq voluntarily answering these questions with some very heartfelt answers. If there was a question he didn't like, I remember when I got Keyshawn Johnson's phone number, like way back when he was, joining with the Buccaneers. And, sometimes we text the players and talk to them off the record, et cetera. And I remember what Keyshawn said. He said, I'm going to give you my number, but I don't have to take your call. Right.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. We can ask questions. Nobody's under any obligation to answer any of our questions. And so the fact that Shaq did and was so open about it, just keep that in mind when, you're, maybe nitpicking or picking on some of the reporters.
Yeah. And we do appreciate the super chat nonetheless.
Yeah,
if you want to voice your opinion. I got a question for you, Scott, changing subjects here a little bit.
Yeah.
What is the best flavor of Celsius? I don't know if there is an answer to that because there are so many that are fantastic.
Yeah.
Of course, Celsius is the presenting sponsor of the Pewter Report podcast, the official energy drink of the podcast as well. Check out their newest flavor, the Cosmic Vibe. It's a sparkling fruit punch, but they have so many awesome flavors, from the sparkling lemon lime to the sparkling orange. I was having grapefruit on the show recently, cucumber lime as well. Can't go wrong with the Arctic Vibe. My personal favorite. There is no sugar, no post-energy drink crash or jitters that you might get with another product out there. Just absolutely delicious flavor. So if you want to know where to find one, tropical vibe, and the peach vibe as well.
Yep. Had an Arctic Vibe the other day.
Yeah, that's right. Go to the Celsius store locator on their website, punch in your address, and it will let you know where you can find one at the closest geographical location at your local Walmart, Target, your convenience store, or your bodega.
Bodega.
During roll call said New York City, like the bodega capital of the world or something like that. Absolutely.
Yes.
And then once you keep going to your bodega to get those Celsius energy drink cans and you want more, buy them in bulk on Amazon by doing the subscribe and save. Get that variety pack, as varieties of spice of life. And there's so many awesome flavors of Celsius, as I've already talked about. And you can have it set up at your leisure whenever you want it to go to your residence. It could be weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. Just make sure you're drinking Celsius energy drink. Make Celsius your number one pick. Celsius, the official sponsor of the Pewter Report podcast.
Yep. We have a question here from Darius, probably geared towards you, Matt.
Have you guys ever been to a bodega? Yes, I have a number of times going to New York City. Yeah. Now it's usually to, when I'm visiting friends and stuff, they live in like the Queens area more. You see it in the city, Manhattan, the five boroughs and everything like that. But yes, I've been to a bodega.
I've never been to a bodega, but I love saying the name. It's
cool.
A
fun name. I mean, it's like it's a different name for like a little market or like a little corner store. Right. It's not.
It's like YaYa, Diaby.
Yeah,
it's such a cool name to say.
Diaby.
So,
we have a super chat as well. Let's get to the super chat from Bucs Basement. Thank you very much, Bucs Basement. They say, to be honest, I don't buy this quarterback competition. The NFL is ultimately a business. Bucs want to get a quarterback that can generate buzz and segments on ESPN. That's Baker.
I don't know about that. And I'll tell you why. Todd Bowles does not give a crap about ESPN.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I said this morning when I was on WDAE. I said, Todd Bowles, he just wants to win. He wants to care if you run it 45 times. Yeah. He doesn't care if you throw it 65 times. Now, he would like to run it more than he passes it. But at the end of the day, if there's a win when it says Buccaneers versus opponent and the Bucs are the winner, that's all that matters to Todd Bowles. I mean, go and watch the last 3 or 4 press conferences of this year's training camp with Todd Bowles. He's very, in terms of his responses, he's short, not much to it. Oh, he's a good player. This player's a heady player. Yeah, they're in shorts and T-shirts. I don't really care. Oh, today's only the first day at pads. How can I possibly make an assumption on any player at any position? Todd Bowles just wants to win. And he really needs to win because if he doesn't, he might be no longer the Bucs head coach this year.
Right. So now, Bucs Basement, you're not entirely wrong with your question or your premise. The Glazers, they do love the buzz. They love being a popular franchise because that trickles down to merchandise sales. That trickles down to season ticket sales, buzz about the team, all of that stuff, popularity. So the Glazers really care about that stuff. They care about wins too, because wins ultimately is what gets you on the national scene and get you all the hype. But Todd Bowles, when you drop it down to the head coach level, no, he just wants to win. And Matt, I think too, when you're looking at Todd Bowles going into week 1 at Minnesota, sold out opening day crowd, skull, the place going nuts. I think Kyle Trask is really going to have to beat out Baker Mayfield head and shoulders in the preseason to make Todd Bowles feel comfortable about saying, I want to start a season in which I might be on the hot seat with Kyle Trask at quarterback in that environment. Otherwise, I think he's going to go with the veteran, the guy who's been there and done that, who's been in 69, 70 some games, who's won a playoff game, and that's Baker Mayfield. If it's close, I think Baker gets the nod. But if Baker continues to throw picks, that gets you beat, right? Turnovers for number 1 rule in football. Don't beat yourself, right? So at the same time, Todd Bowles and Dave Canales, they're going to take a heady approach to it and say, let's say Baker throws 3 interceptions in the preseason, Kyle throws none. They both move the ball. They both put points on the board. In that instance, I think maybe you say, wow, Kyle's feeling it. Let's give this guy, a shot. Otherwise, if it's close, I think he's going to go with the trusted hand. It doesn't mean the Baker's going to be the 17-game starter, but looking at week 1 in that environment on the road, skull, loud, noisy indoor stadium.
I think at the end of the day, the preseason games are probably going to be the heaviest weighted grade of who's going to be the starting quarterback, who plays well the most in that. And I totally agree with your points about Baker and good comment, Chris.
No, hold on. Hold that thought real quick, Matt, because it's going to be a good one, I know. But I'm just saying, at the same time, Kyle Trask has a shot because Todd Bowles is not afraid to play young, unproven players.
Yeah.
Right, he's done that with his secondary, Antoine
they're
Winfield.
Usually just safeties.
Right, but I'm just saying I know the quarterback is much more involved position, but I think that's maybe what makes Todd Bowles a little different. Is he's not afraid to play young guys. If Kyle's the better guy, he's going to go with him. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, he just wants everyone to understand the game and have the mental sharpness to play, and then he's fine with them going in. So he's worked with a whole room of young defensive backs in their rookie year, or second year, third year, whatever it is. But to get back to Baker and Kyle Trask real quick, I completely understand your point, and I don't disagree either about Baker just having way more experience to go into that environment in Minnesota. But is there any part that we can look into? And I understand we're talking about college versus the NFL.
Yeah.
Like Kyle Trask played in the SEC.
That's
he
right.
Played against some big-time teams on the road.
Yeah.
And especially that SEC championship game against Alabama, which was a neutral site. But, of course, you're going to have a ton of crazy, wild Alabama fans watching the Tide. Is there anything we can take from that and be like, oh, Kyle Trask might do better in a big moment like that than we kind of think?
That's a great point, Matt. I really haven't doubted into that, but there's a lot of logic to that. It's not like Kyle Trask, was playing at Central Michigan or Eastern Washington or a school that like that. He's played, in the swamp. He has played, at Alabama. He's had some big game environments with loud, raucous crowds. So yeah, you know what? Maybe, like I said, if it's ultimately going to be, and I appreciate the question here from Greece, from Christos. Do you think it will be Canales' decision or Bowles who have the final say? It'll be Todd Bowles. It's his team. But I think he and Canales are going to come to the same conclusion, whatever that conclusion is. And we have a long way to go. Like you said, Matt, preseason is ultimately going to determine this. And folks, if you're looking for, what's the determining factor to hiring or finding a real estate agent, well, look no further than the Eric Gross Group. Eric Gross and his wife, Katie, they're fantastic real estate agents, but they're more than that. These are people that will help you find your home, right? It's one thing to have a house. It's another thing to have a home. And that means finding the right neighborhood, finding the right community where you fit in. And it takes a full team effort to win a football game. And it's the same way in real estate. It takes a full team effort. And that's what the Eric Gross Group brings to the table. They've done hundreds of transactions in this crazy real estate market. They've got experience in all types of situations. So whether you're moving to Florida and looking to buy a home, or you're looking to move within Florida and sell your home and buy a new home, or maybe you're moving out of state and you need to sell your home, the Eric Gross Group has you covered. Eric is an avid Pewter Report reader and podcast watcher. He has roots in the Tampa Bay area. His father was stationed at MacDill. He and his team have the market knowledge, the top-notch communication, and commitment to excellent service to set them apart with their strong team of vendors and over 85,000 agents in their network. The Eric Gross Group will turn your dream of buying or selling a home into a reality. Their clients are not transactions. They're lifelong friendships. Wouldn't you want to buy or sell your house with another Pewter people guy out there that you can, talk a little Bucs football with and get to know? Well, that Eric's your guy. Don't let the stress of buying or selling a home keep you out of the game. Let the Eric Gross Group take the pressure off. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Eric Gross Group. Check out their website, housesinfla.com. It's a great website. Or give them a call at 513-907-4271. That's housesinfla.com. No matter where you are on your home ownership journey, go to housesinfla.com, and you're going to feel welcome with the Eric Gross Group, the official realtor of Pewter Report.
Scott, as we start to wind down the show a little bit, this player, we mentioned him before, especially because the cadence in which you say his name, but I don't think we're giving YaYa Diaby enough credit for, one, the type of interception that he made today, and two, he also had and I'll put in quotations, a would-be sack on Kyle Trask today, just showing off his speed on the out on the edge, getting after Kyle Trask in 11 on 11. So it feels like, wow, I didn't even see that super chat, but thank you. I swear to God, I didn't even see that super chat from Meets McGee. Thank you so much for the super chat, and I'm glad I'm talking about YaYa Diaby right now. Yeah, showing that speed off of the edge, and it feels like every single day a rookie from this year's draft class just pops up and makes a big play. We obviously talked about Kalijah Cansey before he got hurt, Servassier Dennis, Trey Palmer a little bit, but YaYa Diaby is throwing his hand into the mix as well. This interception, it wasn't like the ball was in the air for a very long time and it just fell into his lap and he caught it. No. YaYa Diaby went full extension like Superman. Yeah. Arms out, gets under the ball right before it hits the ground. If it went to camera replay, who knows if it would have stayed. But for him to at least make the effort, go all out in a training camp practice in the middle of the heat in Tampa, Florida, it just shows that his athleticism, the excitement that he has, and the overall skill set that he has that can help the Bucs succeed in getting after the pass rusher in a non-blitzing type of way this year. Anthony Nelson was very complimentary about how he understands the playbook. He said that about Jose Ramirez as well. And he talked a lot about his crazy athleticism, which was put on display with this diving interception on the tip pass that Baker Mayfield. It was.
I talked to YaYa coming off the field today, asked him about that. He's like, hey, that was my tight end roots, man. making those types of plays back in high school. So, yeah, big man, too. 6'3", 263 pounds, very agile, incredible speed off the snap, and just long speed, too. He's a sideline-to-sideline guy. And just the speed to power, too. That's the one thing Jason Light really liked about him at Louisville. What really jumped off the tape was the speed to power. And we saw that a couple times. He drove Luke Gedeke, who's actually looked really good at right tackle. I'm not trying to slander Luke Gedeke. Adam Slavon, we call him Sly, would not have any Gedeke slander on the podcast. But we got to call it like we see it. YaYa Diaby drove Gedeke back into the pocket a couple times. Incredibly strong guy. Probably the strongest edge rusher that the Buccaneers have in terms of just pure power and strength. And it's just an explosive guy. He's going to be getting a lot of playing time today. And I think he is really going to be pushing Joe Tryon-Shoyinka for some reps. We've seen YaYa get a lot of snaps on the left side. That's where JTS is lining up. Shaq is mostly on the right side. Anthony Nelson has been the guy there behind him. But, Matt, YaYa Diaby really is coming on strong in pads. We've been waiting for this because this is really the first chance we get to see that power, and it was on display today. And Joe Tryon-Shoyinka in one-on-one pass rush against the offensive lineman had a wicked spin move on Luke Gedeke, inside spin move. It was something I haven't seen from him before. It's a new tool in his tool belt, And this is going to be a nice little 1-2 punch between JTS and YaYa Diaby here. I think YaYa breathing down JTS's neck. It's either going to push him to greatness or push him to the bench.
Fun little competition, a separate storyline for Buccaneers training camp, which is fun. And if one of those guys succeed, that means they're getting to the quarterback even more, which means the Bucs are not allowing points, at least by the defense. That means you might want to bet the under in some of the Bucs games this year, unless the Bucs offense just completely explodes. And of course, if you want to bet on the Bucs this season or any NFL game or really any sport, go over to mybookie.ag and start betting on it over there. Of course, they also have their online casino, which is new and improved, and it's here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. Take advantage of weekly blackjack tournaments and a brand new collection of high-end games for a chance at real cash rewards. Your adventure at the MyBookie Casino begins today with a generous sign-up bonus using the promo code Pewter. That's PEWTER, and secure that sweet bonus. And that's not all, because their revamped loyalty program ensures that you'll be showered with rewards, including free spins, cashback offers, and a host of exclusive VIP perks. The more you play, the more you win. So play anytime, anywhere with the MyBookie Casino, and you can get up to $1,000 with your first deposit bonus by using that promo code Pewter. Even if you learn from Plant City Math, you know that is a heck of a deal. So start betting at mybookie.ag with the promo code Pewter. That's PEWTER.
Yep. So here's what I want. You Pewter people are awesome. We love you guys. I highly recommend MyBookie. They're partnered up with us again, 5th year in a row, for a reason, because they're the best out there. Great app, easy to place your bets. I want to hear 5 new signups. So I want you guys to take advantage of that offer. Use the promo code Pewter. Go to mybookie.ag. And our next show, which would be Wednesday at 4 o'clock, because there's a night practice tomorrow night. It's from 7 to 9. We're not going to do something, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So we're going to do our next podcast Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And I would love to see 5 of you go to MyBookie and make that deposit, get that bonus, and get ready for football season. It's so much fun betting on MyBookie.
I would recommend Bucs over 6.5 or the over on receiving yards for Mike Evans. But your choice.
Speaking of Mike Evans, there he is.
Speaking of Mike Evans, who's on the logo of our Bucs coverage, please follow us on our social media on Twitter, now known as X. It's going to take a little bit to keep calling it that. But Instagram, Threads, and Facebook, we are all at Pewter Report. And then on our YouTube channel, we are Pewter Report TV. We're always putting out content, and we have some videos from today's practice that are up. We obviously have the podcast 4 times a week, a lot of press conference clips as well, and just many other things on our YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Pewter Report TV.
We are now over 11,100. Working on 11,200. We'll be at 12,000 before you know it. Thanks to you, Pewter people.
Yes.
You guys are awesome.
We owe you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Again, we love anytime we see you guys at training camp or really just out in public in general. So we appreciate the support. We love you guys so much. A scheduling note, again, one more time. No podcast tomorrow.
Right.
There is training camp practice. We'll have the Bucs camp report and everything, but it is at nighttime, so it will be
pewterreport.com.
later on. Yeah, pewterreport.com for that. Then we will have a show on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all at 4 p.m., all recapping those training camp practices. So still a lot more. 5 shows this week, which is always awesome because it's more Bucs football that we get to talk about. But until tomorrow, I even did it right there. Until Wednesday, that's going to do it for us on today's show. For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks, everybody, for watching. And we'll see you Wednesday at 4 p.m. for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.
YaYa Diaby.
YaYa.